if you're at home, you can pause that at any moment so you can check your homework. Okay, just like everything else that we've done so far, two-step inequalities, you're going to solve them exactly like you did for two-step equations, except for our one special rule that says that we need to flip that inequality symbol if we multiply or divide both sides by a negative. Okay. Okay, so this is I can solve and graph two-step inequalities. Okay. So we're going to look at some pretty basic inequalities first. And then I will make sure that we have time to go over at least one word problem before you leave today. So let's take a look at this example right here. Okay, so we're just going to go through the motions. We're going to solve it just like we do equations. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So I'm going to get 28 over here, bring down my symbol, and I have 7y over here. We always add or subtract first when we're solving equations. It's the same with inequalities. Now, the opposite of multiplying by 7 is dividing both sides by 7. So I'll divide by 7 here and here. And I'm left with y is greater than 4. Okay. And you do want to make sure that you're kind of like checking your answer on this. The first check I like to do mentally. Okay, so I just want to make sure that 4 is the correct number to start our solution set with. So I'm just going to plug it in mentally for y. So if I did, 7 times 4 is 28. 28 minus 4 is 24. So I know that 4 is the correct number here. Okay. Now I'm going to graph it. And then I'm going to check to make sure my solution set is correct. Okay. So I'm going to do a hollow circle at 4. And this is y is greater than 4, so I'm going to shade everything that is greater than 4. Okay, that's a hollow circle because it's not equal to here. Now, to check my solution set, you can pick any number that's in the solution set. I'm going to pick 5. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it into the original inequality, this right here. Okay, so it'll be 7, and I chose 5, so I'm going to put 5 in there. Minus 4 is greater than 24. And if this statement is true, then I have the correct solution set, which is what I want. So this will be 35 minus 4 is greater than 24. 35 minus 4 is 31. Okay, so 31 is greater than 24. So I know that my solution set here is correct. Okay, let's try another problem. Let's do negative 2x plus 4 is less than or equal to 3. Okay. All right, like I said, we're going to solve it just like an equation. So the opposite of subtracting 4, or of adding 4 would be to subtract 4. So I'll do that to both sides. And we're left with negative 2x is less than or equal to negative 1. Okay, now the opposite of multiplying by negative 2 is dividing by negative 2. So I'm going to divide by negative 2 here, and I'm going to divide by negative 2 here. Now this right here, we have to pay attention to this, okay? So whenever you multiply or divide by a negative, that sign is going to flip. So I'm just going to write myself a little note just to remind myself. So I divided by a negative. Okay, and that means my inequality symbol is going to have to flip the other way. So negative 2 divided by a negative 2, I'm just left with x over here. And a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So this will be just positive a half. Okay. Now, mentally, I'm just going to plug in a half to this and just make sure that a half is correct. So negative 2 times a half would be negative 1. Negative 1 plus 4 is a positive 3. So I know that a half is correct to start off my solution set with. Now we're going to graph it and then check a number in our solution set to make sure that we've shaded the correct side of a half. Okay, in this case, it's going to be a solid circle because of that equal to sign under my inequality. And I'm going to shade everything that is greater than a half. Okay. Now, we do need to just check and make sure that we shaded the correct side of our solution set. So let me just check this. I'm going to pick 2 because I see that 2 is in that shaded region for the solution set. So I'm going to plug it back into my original inequality. So negative 2 times positive 2 plus 4 is less than or equal to 3. So negative 2 times positive 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. All right, this is a true statement here. 0 is less than or equal to 3. So I know that this solution set right here is correct. Yeah.
But why, I don't understand why you flip the greater than or less than sign so it's moving x. Why do you do that?
You weren't here yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so go back and watch the video from yesterday. Because that's pretty much the whole thing that we talked about yesterday was when you multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, the sign's going to have to flip because it inverts your inequality. But go back and watch it and you'll be good, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to give you 2 problems to practice real quick to make sure you're good to go on this. Okay, so I want you to solve these and graph them and make sure you have the correct solution set by checking your solution set when you're done. All right, give it a try. I'm going to go ahead and set mine up and we'll talk about them. Okay, so just a reminder, when you're solving equations or inequalities, you're basically like, here's GEMDOS. Okay, usually you would go this way, starting at grouping and going down to adding and subtracting. But when you're solving an equation, you're undoing everything, so then you're going backwards. So you always want to look at the operations that are happening and do your adding and subtracting first, and then you're multiplying and dividing. So that was the one thing that I saw kind of was catching people a little bit, is they were trying to divide by 2 first here instead of adding 29.5. So we always want to add first, add and subtract first what we can. Okay, and when I do that, I'm left with 2z is less than 40. Okay. And now that we have this, we can go ahead and divide, because the opposite of multiplying 2 by z is dividing by 2. So I'll do that here and here. And I'm left with z is less than or equal to 20. I'm going to do a quick mental check here. 2 times 20 is 40. 40 minus 29.5 is 10.5. So I know that 20 is my correct point. And then we're going to graph our solution set and then just check and make sure we have the correct one. Okay, I'm going to do a solid circle at 20. And it's saying that z is less than or equal to 20, so I'm going to shade everything that is less than 20. Okay. And now I want to just make sure that this over here is my solution set. So I'm going to choose something that is shaded in my solution set to plug back into my original inequality here. So I'll pick 18. Running out of space there. Okay, so this is 36 minus 29.5 is less than or equal to 10.5. And then I'm going to subtract this and I get 6.5 is less than or equal to 10.5. So since this is true, then I know my solution set that I got here is correct. Okay? Now let's just check this last one here. I always add or subtract first, so I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. And I get negative 4x is greater than or equal to 8. Now I'm going to multiply or divide, which in this case we're going to divide because that's the opposite of multiplying by negative 4. And right here, we have to pay attention to this because it will mess us up if we forget. I am dividing by a negative. Okay, so then what that means is I have to flip my symbol like this. And then this right here will be negative 2. Okay, so you should have gotten x is less than or equal to negative 2. And I'm going to mentally just plug that back in. So negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. 8 plus 6 is 14. So I know that negative 2 is the correct starting point for my solution set. And then we're going to graph it and check it real quick. So this is going to be a solid circle at negative 2. And I'm going to shade everything less than negative 2. Okay. And now what I want to do is I want to just make sure that I've shaded the correct solution set. So I'm going to go back and plug in something that's shaded. So negative 4 times negative 4 plus 6 is greater than or equal to 14. This is going to be a positive 16. And this is 22 is greater than or equal to 14. And that's true. Okay. Now, if you checked this, like let's say that you forgot to flip the symbol, you would have gotten that x is greater than or equal to negative 2. And so when you plugged it plugged in your solution set over here, this would not have been true. So if for some reason you're checking your answer and it's not true, just look back at your work and make sure, did I miss when I was supposed to flip my inequality symbol? Okay? How you guys doing? You good? Awesome. Flip your page over. We're going to do one word problem. And then hopefully you'll have a little bit of time to work on some of your practice. I'm doing much better on time today. I just have to be really fast in here. For whatever reason, second period, I always run out of time. I don't know why. All right, so let's go ahead and let me see if I can make this a little shorter for you. Okay, so a drama club production will cost $1,100. They have $610.75 in their account. If they sell tickets for $4.75 each, how many tickets would they need to sell? Okay. All right. Now, the great thing about this is you guys actually know how to write these already. The only thing that's different is we're going to be using inequality symbols. Okay? Because in this case, they need at least $1,100, but they could have more than that. They would just make more money, which would be awesome. They'd have extra money beyond what they needed for their production. Okay. So just like we did for the equations, you're going to have the rate times the number of times it's occurring plus some kind of one-time initial thing. We'll call this the one-timer. And then usually we would have an equal sign here, but this time we're going to have an inequality because it does not necessarily have to be exactly that total. And here's our total. Okay. So let's go through this problem and figure out what goes where and what inequality symbol we're going to use. So the cost of the production altogether is going to be $1,100. So I'm going to start by just putting that here. Now this is all of the money that they are going to make or already have. And this amount needs to be greater than or equal to $1,100. Does everybody see why that's the case? So the total cost of the total money that they bring in from their ticket sales plus the money that they already have has to be at least this much. So I'm going to use the greater than or equal to symbol. Okay? Now we know that the tickets cost $4.75 each. And what we don't know, what we need to find out, is how many tickets that they need to sell. Okay? So let's go ahead and define our variables. We're going to say let t, you can use any variable you want, but I'm going to use t. Let t equal the number of tickets. So that means I'm going to plug in t here because the number of tickets is going to be multiplied by the cost of the tickets. And then if you look right here, this is how much they're starting with. They already have that amount right here, $610.75. So that's like our one-timer. We already have that much. Okay. Now that you have all of these things, we have our equation. So this is 475 times t plus $610.75. This all has to make sure that we have to make sure it's greater than $1,100. So we're going to do our math. So we're going to solve it just like we normally would. We're going to add or subtract first. So I'm going to subtract $610.75. So I'm getting $489.25. So at this point, this right here, we just need the ticket sales to be greater than or equal to that now. So now I'm going to divide both sides by $4.75. And for the sake of time, I'm going to use my calculator. So $4.89.25 divided by $4.75, we get 103. Okay. So what this means is they need to sell at least 103 tickets. Okay? Yeah, Sienna. 9 minus 6. It's not 9. This is 10 right here. 10 minus 6. Well, it was 11, and I took 1 away and then made it 10. All right, any questions for me on this? Woohoo, you guys, we actually finished the whole lesson today. I'm so excited. Okay, let me show you the table of contents so you know where to file it. If you're at home, you can just copy this down, make sure all your pages are in order. Have a great day.